Just let me know whenever you're ready.
All right. What? Yeah. Come on,
Can you hear me okay?
yes, ladies and gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Roland Bubba Grimes here from Roland Grimes Show coming up on the bottom of the hour. We're going to get started a little bit early tonight. And, of course, we're going to have our major group coming in around 7 o'clock for the Beauty and the Beast version. But we're getting started early tonight because this is a very special, well, actually, we're starting to do it a little bit early every week. But tonight is extra special because we're getting ready for tomorrow's our presidential election and all of the other races that's going on across the country. I have the distinct pleasure right now of talking to a young man who I'm very fond of and have worked with and have studied with for many days and many nights. And he's also very involved in the political scene right now. He came on our show before, but he's back again, Mr. Darius Baxter. Mr. Baxter, how are you, sir?
I'm doing fine. How about yourself, sir?
I'm doing great. Look, I've had a chance to watch you on a couple of different newscasts over the last several weeks. Tell us some of the different formats and programs you've been on as you've been trying to educate us about this process.
Well, I'll say I've been less educating and just giving a voice to young voters.
Okay.
The last few weeks. Last night I had the pleasure of being on 60 Minutes. Which was an awesome experience. Got to take place in a panel just discussing how voters are thinking right now. Specifically, when I go on television, I like to represent millennial voters and just what they're thinking along this process. So last night I had the distinct pleasure of going on 60 Minutes and kind of talking about why young voters aren't as adamant about these two candidates as they may have been in the past. Millennial voters have turned out in record numbers over the last couple elections.
Mm-hmm.
And the fear with this election is that millennials aren't as supportive of either candidate as they were for Barack Obama in 2008 and 2012.
Is that just a theory, or is that really what's going on?
Well, it's hard to predict. The polls tell a story, but at the end of the day, you can't really predict the future, especially when it comes to politics. So I guess we'll all find out tomorrow.
Okay. Now, as you talk to other people in that age group, person to person, even though they sound a little more disenchanted than they were in the past, are many of them within your circle saying, "I'm not voting"?
Yes. I actually have really close friends who have just flat out said that, I'm not voting for a few different reasons. Some say my state is going to go red or my state is going to go blue whether I vote or not. Other ones say that they can't morally make the decision for either candidate. And then you have others that are just completely removed from the political process. And even beyond my own friend group, I do focus groups around the country where I focus on these type of things. And young people you typically find that they're falling into one of those three categories all across the country.
Now, I don't know if you're in a position to actually give an opinion on it. If not, that's fine. But do you have a sense of whether that favors any one candidate or over the other, or is it fairly neutral?
Well, no. Low voter turnout is typically going to favor Republican candidates, and this election is no different.
Okay.
I would like to believe that a Trump would love to see really low voter turnout, because as we all know, Trump supporters are very, I'll say fiery. That's their word.
Mm-hmm.
So they're going to show up, and they're going to show up in high numbers. You saw it during the primary, and I expect to see it again during the general. It's Hillary Clinton that needs to be most scared about low voter turnout, especially with how close the race is becoming leading up to tomorrow.
So that's not just television random shots. What we see across the nation, I know how the media can slant a view one way or another. you're seeing it in real life and in real time that the Trump supporters are very excited, some rabid, passionate, but they're coming out.
Yeah, they're coming out. But look what happened in the primary. Trump didn't win the Republican nomination because he got an overwhelming majority of people to vote for him. Trump was elected based on a minority of voters. And that's just where we are in the American society, is that you can win elections even without, the elections are decided by the people that get out and vote. So you look at the primary, Trump was elected with a minority, and if we see the same thing in the general, if there's very low voter turnout, a small minority of the population will be able to make the large decision of who our next president is going to be.
Okay. Now, your specific role in this election, you actually helped pick the president. Is that correct?
The people picked me,
Gotcha.
and I just I expressed the voice of the people.
You say that part to us again?
The people picked me, and then I just expressed the opinion of the people that picked me.
Okay.
I was a delegate to the DNC.
Now, what is your method or mode of expressing the opinions of the people that have picked you? How does that expression manifest itself, little brother?
Well, mine is a little bit different. I was elected as a Bernie Sanders delegate to the DNC, which is the Democratic National Convention, back in Philadelphia. When was that, in July? So my role is I was feeling the burn throughout this election cycle. So I've kind of had to swallow a little bit of my pride for these last few months as we're finishing up this whole thing.
Okay, so when you're picked as essentially a Bernie Sanders delegate and your horse isn't in the race, overall, what does that do to you, for you, or with you?
It's hard to say. They're definitely, I'm a competitor more than anything. You know that, you coached me back in the day. And it definitely hurts when a candidate, specifically, like I was working for the Sanders campaign, very hard. And so more so than just a supporter, I was actually putting my blood, sweat, and tears into the campaign. So
right.
When we weren't able to make it to the next stage, it definitely hurt. And even up to this day, leading up to tomorrow, I'll say begrudgingly, I'm supporting a certain candidate, right. But I still do wish that my man Bernie was in the race.
Understood. So now, over the next 24 hours, what does your life look like?
Well, 60 Minutes has kind of wrapped up my involvement in this political campaign. I'm going to cast my vote tomorrow, and then I'm going to pop over a few brews and wait for the results to come in.
Awesome. Okay, man. So as you get ready to roll, and I know you've probably told this to 60 Minutes and some other people, tell us one or two things that you've learned. And how old are you now, Darius?
I'm a ripe age of 23.
Awesome. Ripe age of 23. And you know, I mean, I've been proud of you from the day you walked out to go do whatever it is that you do. From Georgetown on. I just have to say, you know, for the record, that I am excited about what you are doing now in our communities. I love the work that you were doing over at Anacostia High School this summer. I really appreciate you working with those youngsters, with our youngsters. Before you leave, tell us a little bit about that experience this summer, and then I want you to tell us one or two things that you have learned from this election process that you didn't know before that's going to help shape how you move in the future.
Well, this summer I had the pleasure of working with DC Public Schools, where we put on a 5-week program for kids in the Anacostia area, where we taught them athletics, academics, and most importantly, social entrepreneurship. Because what you're seeing in not just areas in DC, but our low-income minority communities all across the country, where you can give people all the education in the world, you can send them through college, but at the end of the day, they're one day going to have to come back to a community. And and one of our missions within our organization is to make sure that they come back to a community where it's going back to. So that means really harping on that entrepreneurship piece so that we can build economic opportunities within these low-income areas. And actually, we just started a new program with the mayor of D.C. and the Department of Youth Rehabilitation Services with Director Clint Lacey over there and our man Charles Dotson, who are doing amazing work with our returning youth from youth rehabilitation centers. So we're starting that program, which is a restorative justice program that was brought down from New York that we're piloting here in D.C. And we're working with the families and the kids and just getting them ready to get back to society and actually make a difference. We're really focusing on the entrepreneurship piece as well in that program. And as far as what I've learned throughout this election cycle, I think it really ties into a lot of what I just said, is that, you know, at the end of the day, we can put all our faith in government, but the government wasn't created to be the pacifier for Americans. The government was created to be an assistance to what we're already doing. It's really refocused me and inspired my passion again for the community, because at the end of the day, people don't create their own power. People give people power. So if, as a community, we can empower ourselves, and then we don't have to get to the point where we wait on the government to do things and to bail us out. I don't want to take up too much time, but an anecdote, actually from this campaign trail, I was out in New Hampshire during the primary, following around. I was actually following around the Republican candidates at the time when a huge snowstorm came. And if you live in D.C., Maryland, Virginia, you know if a snowstorm comes, that the city shuts down for weeks at a time. And I'm getting out, this is the first day I'm out there. I'm like, it was all for nothing. We traveled all this way. We're going to cancel everything. And it's nighttime, it's snowing. I wake up the next morning.
Oh, they canceled.
All the snow is gone.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, I'm going crazy.
I tried to show you
I'm
that.
pretty sure it was a blizzard last night.
I tried to show you
that. Then I go outside and I see people with snow plows on the front of their trucks.
Yeah, I tried to
going up and down the street.
I tried to show you that when you came up to Syracuse with us, but it was summertime.
Yeah. So you understand what I'm saying then?
Yes, sir.
It was a real life example of people taking control over their own community. They didn't wait for the government to come and plow the streets. They took pride in their own community, and they said, I have to get to work, so I'm going to put this plow in the front of my truck, and I'm going to get there. And if we can adopt that mentality and just get back to that as American citizens, that's really what, that one defining moment is really what I'm taking away from this election.
Awesome. So part of what I'm going to ask of you as we move forward, man, is to keep that out in front of us. Continue to try to inspire us to use that self-will to get things done. I need it too. You know, I've taken enough hits and I've had enough failures that sometimes I'm a little less ready to move than I was 30 years ago because of some of the things that I've endured and experienced. But when you come along and you remind us of what we can do, then I get a little bit more excited, and I realize that, you know what, if I pull up my bootstraps and I have my man Darius and people like him next to me, then I can keep getting things done. So we need you, man. For sure, and I'm really appreciative that you asked me to come on the show tonight, man. Anytime you need me, I'm here for you, brother. No doubt. God bless you. Love you. Hey, folks, tuning out again. Once again, that's my main man, Darius Baxter, and he is a member of this particular election process in a very, very special way. We're going to continue on for the next 15 minutes, and then we're going to air this during our regular segment of the Roland Grimes Show after 7 o'clock p.m. Darius, man, the next time we speak, we will have a new commander-in-chief, man. All right, God bless you. Love you, man. All right, brother. Love you too. All right, folks. Roland Bubba Grimes once again. It's 6:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We'll see you in about 17, 18 minutes.